Hello and welcome. Today we are diving deep into the words that give our feelings color and texture. We're going to get way beyond just happy or sad to find that perfect word for the exact feeling we're trying to describe. You've totally been there, right? You're reading something and you feel this thing, a specific kind of sadness, a certain type of joy. You know the feeling deep down, but the name for it is just on the tip of your tongue. Well, today we're going to grab those words and stick them right in our vocabulary. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get the basics straight by decoding tone and mood. Then we'll journey through different emotional landscapes, from the nuances of sorrow to the heights of joy. Then over to the sharp edge of criticism, and finally into the world of thoughtful reflection. Let's get into it. Okay, so first things first. Before we can really appreciate all these amazing specific words, we have to understand the two big ideas that control the emotional vibe of, well, pretty much everything you read. This right here is the absolute key. Tone is all about the author's attitude. Are they being sarcastic, serious, playful? But mood is the atmosphere you feel as the reader. So an author could use a really cold, detached tone to describe something, which in turn creates a super suspenseful and creepy mood for you. They work together, but they are not the same thing. So, how do writers actually create that tone? Well, one of their secret weapons is illusion. If an author calls a greedy character a Scrooge, they don't have to explain anything else. They've just used a shortcut to tap into everything you already know and feel about that famous character. It's incredibly efficient. And another big one is analogy. Let's say someone writes, "Finishing this project was like climbing Mount Everest." You immediately get a tone of struggle, of immense difficulty, but also of incredible achievement. These devices aren't just for English class. They're the fundamental building blocks of how we make each other feel with words. All right, let's wade into our first emotional territory. We're starting with the quieter, more complicated world of sorrow. We're just saying you're sad doesn't even begin to cover it. You know, wistful isn't a painful, crying kind of sadness. It's more of a bittersweet ache. It's that gentle longing for a past that you can't have back, but you remember it with a lot of fondness. It's that feeling you get when you're flipping through old photo albums. Now, melancholy is a different beast. It's heavier, you know? It's a sadness that can just hang in the air, and it doesn't always need a specific reason to show up. It's more of an atmosphere, a kind of thoughtful gloom that can just color an entire day for no reason at all. And this is a perfect example of how one feeling, in this case seriousness, can have so many different flavors. A wedding ceremony might be solemn. It's deeply serious and formal. A funeral is often somber. It's dark and gloomy. And when a doctor has bad news, their tone is grave because the situation has serious, momentous consequences. Three very distinct tones. Okay, let's shake that off and lighten things up a bit. We're stepping out of the shadows and into the sunlight to look at words that just radiate sincerity, energy, and pure happiness. Now, these two seem really similar, but there's a really important little difference. Sincere just means you're being genuine, you actually mean what you're saying. Earnest, though, kicks it up a notch. It adds intensity. An earnest request isn't just genuine, it is passionate and full of conviction. It just carries more weight. Oh, I love this word. Ebullient is joy in action. It's not just being happy, it's bubbling over with it. It's energetic and infectious. It's that feeling when a crowd just erupts or when a person is literally bouncing up and down with good news. And if ebullient is that outward explosion of joy, euphoric is the absolute peak of the internal feeling. It's this incredible, almost transcendent state of bliss. It's the moment after all the cheering dies down and you're just left floating on a cloud of pure, overwhelming happiness. Okay, from the absolute heights of joy, we have to look at the other side of the coin. Now we turn to the sharp, cutting edge of language, the words we reach for when we are definitely not happy. So the key thing to see here is the escalation. It's like a ladder of harshness. An acerbic comment is sharp, like a witty but kind of mean joke. Acrid adds a layer of bitter anger to it. But a caustic remark? Wow, that is designed to burn. It's corrosive. It's meant to do real damage. So think of it as going from sharp to bitter to full-on acid. Here's another great little distinction. Being discontented is kind of passive. You're not happy with your situation, but you might just be sitting there feeling bummed out. But disgruntled, that implies you're actively grumpy about it. A discontented employee is just unhappy. A disgruntled employee is the one muttering under their breath by the coffee machine. All right, for our last section, we're going to get a little more cerebral. We're diving into the mind to explore the tones of thinking, of authority, and even the deliberate, tricky art of being unclear. See, these are all about thinking, but they're looking in totally different directions. A reflective tone is looking backward, trying to understand the past. A pensive tone is more in the moment, thoughtful, but often with a touch of that melancholy we talked about. And an inquisitive tone is looking forward, always asking questions, hungry for new information. Tone can set up a power dynamic in an instant. An authoritative tone is one of command. It just expects you to listen and obey. But a deferential tone does the exact opposite. It gives power away, showing respect and yielding to someone else's judgment. The contrast couldn't be more clear. Okay, this one is super subtle but so important. The difference comes down to one word: intent. Something is ambiguous if it's just plain unclear, maybe by accident. A confusing street sign is ambiguous. But a statement is equivocal when it is deliberately vague, usually to avoid taking a stand. A politician dodging a direct question is being equivocal. Okay, wow. We have covered a huge spectrum of words, from solemn to ebullient, from caustic to reflective. It's a lot. So let's bring it all home and ask the most important question of all. Why should you care? What's the point? It matters because these words aren't just for trivia night. They are tools. This is your tone toolkit. Having the right word lets you understand what you're reading with so much more precision, and it lets you express exactly what you mean. It helps you hear the music behind the words and everything from a work email to a great novel. Honestly, it just makes you a better, more empathetic communicator. So, as you go about the rest of your day, as you talk to people, as you write, as you listen, just think about the power that you have now. You have the words to paint the world with incredible nuance. The only question left is, what tone will you choose?